and welcome back to Mother Tongue, your eyes, ears, and finger on the pulse for all parents around the world. Let's get going, shall we?
We are so incredibly excited to welcome Rania Galbraith to Mother Tongue. Rania, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I mean, surviving another week. I just feel like this time of year has just gone so quickly. It feels like summer is a distant memory, yet it feels like it was only yesterday. And I can't believe that we're kind of creeping up on half term already. I'm just like, my gosh, how is this happening?
I know. Things in Dubai are just always just non-stop, on the
I
go,
know.
constantly.
Absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. But today we're actually having a very interesting chat about nursery education and choosing the right nursery and everything that we need to know about sending our kids to nursery, which I'm very excited about. I'm a big believer in nursery education. Both of my children went to nursery, and I just think from a developmental standpoint and also socializing skills, we have found it to be the best route for us and our family. But before we get into all these things, can you please start by telling our lovely listeners a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm Rania, and my journey into childhood education kind of started with a really deep interest into how humans develop, and had this strong belief in the power of having a nurturing environment during the early years of life. I've worked in many roles in the early education field, but particularly in the special educational field. And it's always just, my passion has always just been supporting young children to thrive in life, especially in their foundational years. And I just love seeing how capable and curious and insightful children can actually be. So
I agree. Oh, I love that. And I mean, what was it that, like, how did your career take you to where you are now? What kind of drew you to the early childhood education?
Well, at university, my background was social sciences, which was primarily focused on child psychology. And there was just something to it. Like, I just have this almost natural, innate need to be around children, to support them from basically birth up until, they're ready to go and, explore the world on their own.
I love that. I mean, you must also have the patience of a saint, because I often look at nurseries and I think, oh my God, the daily chaos, the daily crying, the daily tantrums, there's like the kids change so much from kind of nursery through to where my eldest is now, which is year one. And I look at those kind of nursery days and I think, oh my God, they are so chaotic compared to where they are now. I mean, what do you do at the end of every single day? I mean, I'd be reaching for the bottle. It must be really testing on your patience and quite overstimulating at times.
It can be. It absolutely can be. But at the end of the day, it's so rewarding. You're constantly making a difference to these children's lives. And that's the only thing that I kind of have at the back of my mind. Yeah.
Love that. So, I mean, obviously, I am, you don't need to convert me. I am a firm believer in nursery education, and both my kids actually went from the age of 1, which some people might say is really, really young. But when they started walking, I felt that them being at home all day, every day was not essentially entertaining them enough. They were ready to socialize with other kids. They were ready to explore new environments. But can you talk to us a little bit about why you believe that nursery or early years education is so crucial in a child's development?
Absolutely. I mean, the early years, birth to the age of 5, are the period for brain development. So children form more than 1 million neural connections every second throughout these years.
Wow.
So high quality nursery education, not just for, literacy and numeracy, it's the essential skills that it gives you, like the socialization, like you mentioned, the regulation, the emotional resilience. It is the foundation for their lifelong learning. So absolutely, it is so important to begin that journey early on.
And what are the key developmental milestones that happen during these nursery years?
So firstly is obviously developing an emotional attachment. Sorry, no.
Don't worry.
Yeah, secure attachments and emotional regulation. They're coming into a completely brand new environment, but slowly we work through that to help them kind of regulate themselves within a new setting, and then develop these new attachments with, their peers or the staff members as well. Language, working on the communication skills, is one milestone. Their gross and fine motor skills, 100%. One of the key milestones. And then as they kind of get older, after the age of 2 and 3 is where, we start to look at the more structured academics, so, mathematical thinking. And then also learning independence and a sense of self, and also being able to relate to others as well.
I love this. And I mean, so we actually sent our kids to nursery, I think 5 days a week from the get-go, which was quite a lot thinking back on it now. But as a working mum, I needed to feel that they were in a environment that they were enjoying and they were engaging and that they were learning. So nursery was the best option for us. But maybe mums that aren't working or have more time on their hands and they still want to have that kind of one-on-one time with their child, what would you say is a good amount of time to send a kid to nursery, and at what age do you think is the right time to start sending them?
There's no right and wrong when it comes to this. It obviously depends on your
Child.
family, the child and family circumstances. But I've always been an advocate for sending your children to nursery at a younger age. Obviously, I know Dubai is a little bit different, where, some parents have to send their children from 45 days, being 45 days old. But it's crucial to send your children as soon as you can. And for me, I've always said that start slow. You can build it up. You can start with 2 days for 2 hours, and then whilst they're kind of connecting with their new environment, with the new with new people, then you can start to build it up once you see that they're becoming more comfortable. And if they're able to communicate, they might say, oh, nursery, or school, whatever word that they might use, and to kind of show that they're now comfortable and happy to go, and that anxious feeling is not there anymore. And I think that would be your sign to then increase the length of time that they're at nursery.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell me how nursery prepares children for primary school and beyond?
So I always encourage keeping children at nursery up until FS2. I think it's crucial for them to grow in the same environment that they've gotten to know from a young age, if they have. And so during FS2 is where the preparation for the big wide world comes in. Again, giving them all of the academics and the resources required for them to flourish in school, typically mostly working on their independence, their numeracy, their literacy, again, emotional regulation. So, because once they go to school, it's so different. It is so different to nursery. It is obviously a more structured environment. It might be longer days as well. So, we have to prepare them in every aspect before, we send them away at the end of the academic year.
Okay. And I mean, some parents do worry about sending their children too early to nursery. What would you say to those parents about those concerns?
The concern is obviously completely valid. It is a big step for any family, any parent, to do that. What I would say is try not to worry about the age too much, but look at the child's readiness. Do you feel like they're ready to kind of go and explore that new environment? I mean, a well-staffed and nurturing nursery with a strong key person relationship, I think, can be a wonderful extension of home.
Yeah.
And you just need to look at how your child is going to be supported in every aspect of their development, and how is the nursery reassuring you as a parent, because that is vital. The nursery needs to work in partnership with the parents to make sure it actually works, keeping the child at the center of it, and again, respecting each child's pace as well.
Okay. I mean, sorry, let me start that again. You're clearly very, very passionate about, oh, sorry.
My mouth is dry.
Don't
Sorry.
worry. You're clearly very, very passionate about nurseries. And I love this, but there are so many nurseries out there. So for parents who are a bit like, oh my gosh, where do we go? How do we even start looking for the right nursery? What should we be looking out for? What in your mind are key factors that make a good nursery?
I love this question. So I always say to friends, family, even parents walking into the nursery is go with your gut feeling. Whatever your gut feeling is telling you, go with it. Does it give that warm feel? Do you feel like your child will be happy and comfortable here? Will they have, the space and chance to learn and explore and grow in this particular environment? Do the staff seem knowledgeable? And do they actually seem like they're engaged and tuned in with the children? Again, look at how the environment is set up. Is it set up to accommodate the child, or is it just set up for aesthetic reasons? Does it invite curiosity? Does it invite creativity? Does it invite independence for the child? Those are all the things that you need to consider before choosing the right place for your child, and always go with your gut feeling.
Yeah, I mean, so often us as parents forget to actually listen to our guts. But I totally agree with this. And we had a similar situation when we were picking nurseries for our kids. And in my head, I was like, it makes logical sense to go with the nursery that was closest to home. But we knew in our heart that the one that would be the best fit for us and our child was the one that was slightly further away. And no regrets. We've sent our kids to the same nursery and I love it. I love it. It's been a lovely experience. And I mean, in your opinion, what are your non-negotiables that every good nursery should have? Like, what are the red flags that as parents we should be looking out for?
The nursery needs to have a robust key person system. Each child needs to have somebody that they will work closely with in order to develop the trust and relationship quickly. There's no point in having, hundreds of people surrounding one child, because that won't work. The staff need to be highly trained in child development. They need to understand the milestones. They need to understand child behavior, and they need to be empathetic towards the children, and they need to reflect on their practice. Obviously, nobody's perfect, but reflection goes a long way.
So how important is the teacher to child ratio, and what do you think is the ideal balance?
Ratios are crucial because they directly affect the quality of the interaction. So we follow the EYFS. So the EYFS and the KHDA set a minimum legal ratio. But what really, really matters is that staff have the time to engage with the child in a meaningful manner. Smaller group sizes and better ratios mean that they're more responsive to the care. The children have tailored learning and deeper relationships. So the bare minimum that an ECC can do is follow those ratios set by the KHDA.
Okay. And what role does the nursery environment play, and how can parents assess an environment for a nursery during a visit?
So the environment is basically like the third teacher in many philosophies. So it should be thoughtfully arranged. It should be accessible. It should be calm, full of open-ended materials. Parents should look for spaces that invite creativity and exploration, and not just a busy and cluttered classroom. A good environment reflects that respect for children as capable learners.
And in your opinion, obviously Dubai being Dubai, we have a lot of very beautifully designed, aesthetically pleasing nurseries.
Yeah.
And then there are others which might not be more aesthetically pleasing, but for me remind me of a nursery that I might find in England, which for me feels more homely. Should we be looking for the ones that are really smart and not, more put together? Or do you think it's more about what the teachers are about and what's inside these classrooms that really matters?
I think it's good to have a balance of both. Obviously, you don't want to just settle for a nursery that just looks absolutely stunning, but behind the scenes isn't providing the care that's required for your child. For me personally, it's definitely more about the care that is given to the child. It might not be the most aesthetically pleasing nursery, but the staff might actually, be the warmest that you'll find, the most educated that you'll find. So I guess it is just about what the parent is looking for, but also, like I keep saying, always go with your gut instinct. Like you said, what feels homely, what feels comfortable, and what is it that you're looking for as well. So I think it just depends on each person and family.
Yeah, I agree with this. And how much weight should parents place on curriculum versus play-based learning?
They shouldn't be separate. Play is the curriculum in early years. So high quality nurseries often weave the EYFS learning outcome into meaningful hands-on experiences. Structured learning has its place, particularly in the foundation years, but when it comes to the playful engagement, you need to honor the child's interest and their needs as well.
Okay. And should parents be looking for certifications or accreditations or inspection reports when they're going to find the nursery? And if yes, what do these look like?
Absolutely. So these are super crucial. They're indicators of quality, especially in Dubai. So you can look for the KHDA or the MOE inspection reports depending on the school or the nursery's license. The reports assess like the teaching, the safety, the leadership, as well as the curriculum as well. You would need to consider, the staff. Are they qualified? What is it that they're qualified in? For example, within the EYFS or other frameworks, look for, what's the staff turnover like? Is it low? Is it consistent? Is it high? Seek their policies, make sure that they have robust health and safety, safeguarding policies in place, and potentially other accreditations that the school might have. It might have, won awards, it might have a BSO certification. So there's a lot that you would need to kind of look for a nursery that's transparent, that's reflective and committed to that continuous improvement. Are they listening to your concerns, for example? Are they reflecting on, any issues that might have come up previously? It's not just about sticking to the compliance, but about that, having an open door policy, listening to the child, listening to the parent, and making changes if changes are required.
And I mean, can you is there such a thing as a nursery that doesn't have accreditations? Like, are they allowed to open without certain boxes that have been ticked, let's say?
I mean, in order to open a nursery, you would need to tick all of the boxes for KHDA, and they do have quite strict criteria. So you wouldn't be able to open without everything in place, like, the qualified staff, the legalities behind opening a nursery. There's quite a lot to it.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So accreditations are a bit different, but you would need to have the compliance in place in order to be open, in order to actually open legally anyway.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And whilst we're talking about red flags and things that we should be looking out for, are there other big red flags that you would suggest that we keep our eyes open to when visiting a nursery?
Absolutely. The staff being the biggest one. Are they disengaged, or do they seem stressed? Are the ratios correct? Look out for the lack of natural or open-ended resources for the children. Ask about the outdoor time. How often do they get to go outside, when the weather permits? How is the communication with the parents? Is it consistent? Is it frequent? Because I believe that parents should always be kept in the loop, and if they're not, why? Again, high staff turnover is a big red flag. And I personally think that children should have a key person system, especially when, if it's their first time going to nursery, they should have that one key person that they're developing that relationship with, that trust with, in order to be able to continue their nursery journey effectively. And one last thing is the routine. Is it overly rigid? With very little flexibility for child-led learning. So those are all the questions, or things that you need to kind of look out for when it comes to red flags, I guess.
And what about getting a child settled into nursery? Like, firstly, obviously every child has a different personality, and I know many parents worry that the nursery doesn't necessarily suit the kid's personality, or they're dealing with separation anxiety. How can we ease our children into this process and make sure that we're finding the right fit for our little ones?
Absolutely. The first thing you need to do is observe your child during, the first time that you visit. Do the staff seem, attuned to the child? Do they seem, respectful? Does the environment seem calm or is it overstimulating? And you would need to speak to the staff to see how they tailor the learning to the child's individual interests. Obviously, like you said, each child is so unique, and you need to see how the child is responding to that environment. See what their settling in policy is. So we have a policy where for the first week, we start off slow and kind of work the timings up. So for the first day, the child would come in for an hour or 2 hours with the parent in the classroom itself. So slowly easing them into it, getting the child settled and ensuring that they know that the parent isn't just going away and not coming back, and then slowly building that up. So I think that is extremely crucial for the child, because by the end of the week, they're ready for you to just go away. They'll just say bye, and they'll be on their way to their learning journey.
Yeah, I love this. And tell us more about your nursery, where you are.
So I'm in Paddington Park, which is completely brand new, purpose-built nursery in the heart of Albarcia South. It is an extension of Paddington early childhood centre, but it's a bit different. Different concept. We've gone for a completely natural open space. It's absolutely huge. We have 14 classrooms.
Wow.
So yeah, lots of space, highly qualified educators. So we're looking to open around December time. So hopefully, fingers crossed, all goes well. That's as much as I can say just now.
Watch this space, everybody. I'm very excited to see it. Honestly, I can't wait. And before we start to wrap up today, if you were to leave us with 3 tips for parents picking a nursery, what would they be?
Absolutely. Build a gentle, phased and settling in process. And you can visit multiple times just to make sure that you're absolutely choosing the right place. And once you decide to register, leave your child with a comfort item from home. At least they have something. And always say goodbye, even if it's hard, just so your child knows that you're going to come back. Explain that to them. And for parents, trust the process and the professionals as well. It's absolutely okay to feel emotional. You're all building new routines together, but absolutely just trust the process and it will come together.
And finally, how do you see the future of nursery education evolving in Dubai?
I see it as a growing recognition of early years and not just care, but actually as a foundation for a child's learning journey. There's definitely, what I've noticed is that there's more awareness into, emotional well-being, socialization, inclusive practices, and the importance of outdoor learning and nature-based learning as well. So I really hope that the future includes, greater improvement. I mean, there's been amazing improvement already, but further improvement into, the professional status for practitioners, universal access to the high quality education that kids actually deserve, because all kids deserve the best start into education.
I love this. And Rania, for anyone who wants to reach out and say hi or find out more about you or Paddington, where can they go?
So you can visit our website, paddingtonparkdubai.com, which will lead you directly to what we offer, as well as our WhatsApp, where you can directly speak to us and, you know, get to know what we're all about. And yeah.
Absolutely love this. Thank you for teaching us so much today. I feel like it's been such a helpful episode and we've really enjoyed having you on. So thank you so much.